Did you know that kids on the autism spectrum are 15 times more likely to have feeding issues and selective eating, picky eating than kids that are typically developing? Today, we are sharing an excerpt about feeding struggles and the questions we get regarding them. Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom, board certified behavior analyst, registered nurse, and best-selling author. Each week, I provide you with some videos on my ideas about turning autism and signs of autism around. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do that now. So today we are sharing an excerpt from podcast number 193 on the top 5 questions we get regarding feeding issues in kids on the spectrum or toddlers who are picky eaters and maybe going to get the diagnosis too. So let's watch that. And if you're at the table also, it'll be easier to work on drinking from an open cup or a straw where, you can work on things instead of having the child just run around the room.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are good places to start. And I like what you said on pick one thing like the grazing and focus on that and getting seated at the table, because that's a good place to start. The other thing is a lot of people want to jump into, and we're going to answer this question, yes, later on, well, I want my child to feed themselves. But in the beginning stages of getting them to feed, if your child's only eating on their own with handfuls of Lucky Charms at the table, your next step might be getting them to eat the Lucky Charms off your spoon as you feed them, because that's going to be the easiest way to move forward with foods. And also, after you do grazing and you want to get started on, what food should I introduce first, you want to look at your easy, medium, hard list and go, okay, my child will eat applesauce, turkey, and mac and cheese. So maybe those are their 3 easy foods. Well, then instead of applesauce, you might give, strawberry applesauce or something mixed with it. You might give, instead of Kraft Dinner mac and cheese, you might try Annie's mac and cheese, or you might try something similar as kind of a first step. And again, like Mary said, always keeping them in those non-see-through bowls. But yeah, those are kind of the places to start.
And in the food list, in the sample one, that's actually Brentley's sample one from when we started, because literally I created it. I was like, whoa, he's crying. This does not look good. And I didn't have this list. I was just like, you know what? Take a piece of loose leaf, write down everything easy, he'll eat, everything meat. And we created this, based on Brentley's experience. But, in the easy column, we have some kind of mac and cheese yellow. And in the medium column, we have mac and cheese white. So there is an example where once you get a couple good days under your belt with no grazing and just seated at the table eating easy foods, now your child's more hungry for the meals. And now you can, and you've already, kind of started dumping out. So they're not seeing the packaging as much. So, and these techniques can work for any picky eater. Like, even if you yourself listening are picky, really try to demand fade in. And this is all like shaping and demand fading and all the technical terms that we're not using, but these techniques will really work.
Yeah. And they do, because even if your child only eats one food and they scream and cry when even something else is put on the table, well, then you're not going to start with trying to feed them something else. You might start with just them accepting another bowl on the table that's not their bowl of Lucky Charms.
Yeah. And the other thing we should mention is, I had a client who drank, when I started with him, he was 2, he drank almond milk out of a bottle and he ate gluten-free crackers morning, noon, and night. And the only thing else he would eat is if they drove through McDonald's and got those stupid fries in the red container, and and they were hot and it was a full moon. And it's like, we had to, well, he got intervention with Dr. Keith Williams, and then we were able to really, get him eating. But the biggest thing, if you do go to a feeding clinic, or if you have a pretty extreme picky eater and these just basic little tips don't work, is you need more reinforcement while the child's eating. Even maybe eating the easy foods, or when you're going to slip in the medium foods, you're not probably going to just be able to slip in medium or difficult foods. You're going to probably have to have reinforcement. That may involve, just pairing. First, we're going to have, something good. Then we're going to sandwich in something medium. Then we're going to sandwich in something easy. So it's going to involve, and it might involve the child watching some electronic while they're eating really difficult foods. And I know there's all kinds of controversy on, screen time and those sorts of things. And it's like, for, interventions that are so important and skills that are so difficult, we may need additional reinforcement. And it could involve, like for the little boy that drank from a bottle and ate, gluten-free crackers, he loved letters. He was hyperlexic. We've done a video, blog and podcast on that. We can link that in the show notes. We used an ABC puzzle. He took a bite of something he didn't like, and we had him, put in a puzzle piece or 3 puzzle pieces. Or we put them in. I don't even remember exactly what the deal was, but we didn't use electronics. We used puzzle pieces. You got to use what the child likes. And so, in my courses and throughout my book, I talk about how to figure all that out. But don't forget reinforcement, because whenever you want to increase the behavior, you are going to have an arsenal of reinforcement. I hope you enjoyed that short excerpt from podcast number 193. If you did, love it if you could give us a thumbs up, share the video, leave a comment, really help us get the word out. And if you would like to learn more about how you can help a child increase talking, decrease tantrums, work on eating, sleeping, potty training, and so much more, why don't you attend a free workshop? And I'll see you right here next time.